Welcome to Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to the commercial food equipment repair industry. My name is Pat Finley. I'm a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group and a certified Cephesa trainer. My goal is to shine a light on what I believe to be one of the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. I love the work I do, and I'm glad you're here listening to this podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about how to get into this trade. What's up? Jumping on here today, talk about how to get into this industry. If you don't know, I do commercial food service equipment repair. So I work in restaurants, schools, hospitals, nursing homes. I literally will do anything in a kitchen. Ovens, fryers, combi ovens, steamers, dish machines, garbage disposals, coolers, freezers, ice machines. If it's in a commercial kitchen, I'll fix it. So I've come across a lot of cool people in this industry, and a lot of people showing interest in it. So let's talk about how to get into this. I didn't start off in this. I started off in high school taking a trade class. I was an electrician in high school at the trade school. Did that for 2 years, came out, and I worked union, non-union for about 7 years. My dad did this industry. Company he worked for was getting bought out by a big conglomerate. He didn't want to be a part of it. So he retired from there and got me his job when he left. So I took over his zone. So that was my way into the industry. I never thought I'd lead to what I do now. It's quite a challenge some days, and some days it can be pretty easy, but it's always rewarding and it's always a satisfying career. Like I said, I was an electrician. I transferred over to doing this. They don't train like they used to. So when I started, I got like 2.5 weeks and I was kicked out the door. Go figure it out. Luckily, I had a good support system, and I'm always willing to learn on my own. So that kind of helped out a lot. So, I mean, that's how I got started. Now, there's tons of ways of getting started. You can find someone that's doing this kind of work and talk to them. More than likely, their company is hiring, and more than likely, they have a training program or a training facility of some sort that they will put you through. So reach out to those guys, talk to them. I don't know how many guys have come across in these restaurants that show interest in it. I've hired a couple. One of the better techs I ever had was an in-house maintenance guy. He didn't really do cooking stuff for a casino. And every time I go to work there, I always had to check in with him. He'd come by and look at the repair. And he'd be like, I get there, he'd be like, hey, I think it's this. And I get there and sure enough, it was that. And one night I was like, man, you want a job? He was like, sure, why not? So he ended up coming on board and being a pretty good tech. So, I mean, you never know what walk of life you're going to come from and it's going to work out. So keep that in mind. You don't have to be a technician in another industry to do this. We'll hire people straight from the kitchens. We'll hire people straight out of high school, college. You don't need a college degree. But, I mean, if you want to come out of college and you decide, well, I got this degree, but I can't get a job or whatever, come on out and try it. We'll get you started, and you can see what you can do. So a lot of guys from other industries will transfer over. Like I said, I was an electrician. We have had HVAC guys, some plumbers and stuff transfer over. It's a skilled trade, just like any other skilled trade. But here's the thing. We do electrical. We have to read schematics, understand electrical. So we have to understand Ohm's law. We have to understand how to check amperage, voltage, open and close switches, open and close fuses, safeties, contactors, all that kind of stuff. I have to determine if your element is operating per specification. So you got to be able to tell if you have a 7 kW watt heater on a 208 volt circuit, you got to be able to figure out how much amperage it should be pulling to determine if that amperage is right and if that element is pulling the correct amount. So it's electrical there. So plumbing, we do a lot of installs on combi ovens. So we have to run some water lines, install some filters, run drain lines. So, I mean, you're doing plumbing. I soft solder a lot of 2-inch drain lines, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch water supply lines. Do some pro press if I can. So, I mean, you're using plumbing skills. Refrigeration, we do refrigeration. So you have to understand, the refrigeration cycle. You got to be able to diagnose and troubleshoot ice machines, coolers, freezers, blast chillers, anything you find in the kitchen, you're going to have to be able to diagnose it. So, refrigeration guys work out pretty well, or HVAC guys, transfer over. We do some HVAC work. We do some exhaust hoods. I don't do a whole lot, but some of the other branches do more. Some of the other companies do a lot more than we do, but I do a few here and there. So you got to be able to, figure that out. Nothing's really hard though. It's just taking your time and walking through the process of figuring it out. Most everything has a schematic on there. If it doesn't, it's available online. There's tons of resources out there to help you out. So you have to remember that. Don't get frustrated because you don't understand how it works. Reach out to coworkers, the schematics, that kind of stuff. And if all else fails, call the factory. They'll walk you through anything. So what you can do to get started? Everybody's hiring. Reach out to the place. They'll talk to you. Talk to them about why you're interested and what make you be a good candidate to work there. Like I said, there's guys that go to trade school come out and they don't want to be, a residential HVAC guy, or they don't want to be just a straight commercial HVAC guy. So they'll come over here and, we'll run them through. And if it works out, it works out. So, but I mean, it's all about just finding your fit in the world. I'm not saying everyone's going to like this job. I'm not saying a lot of people are going to like this job, but finding your place in the world. So before you get started, put your resume together. I don't care if you have any experience that's related to the industry or anything at all. Get your resume together. Put down what skills you have, what skills you think you have, and build that resume and get it sent out there. Like I said, everybody in this field is hiring. They're building more and more restaurants, and our workforce is aging out faster and faster every day. We can't keep up. So it's right now is a great opportunity to get your foot in the door and learn a valuable trade and get started. So let's say you see someone like me working in your restaurant and you think it's a cool job. You may be a cook, or you may be, a waiter or waitress or something. And you see me doing it and you show some interest. We'll talk to that person. Most of us are pretty good people, pretty cool. I like talking to people. I like to explain to people what I do. I think it's a pretty cool job. I like telling people, what I do for a living and explaining it, or I wouldn't be here doing this podcast. So, I mean, I'll talk to people. I love this job. It's cool. It's been a pretty big part of my life for the last 16 years, and I imagine it's going to be an even bigger part for the next 30 years. So come up and talk to us. I'll explain what I'm doing. I'll explain the process. Hey, if you're interested, I'll give you the website to go to, the contacts, that kind of stuff, and you get the ball rolling. If you're just watching this video and you're showing interest, um, just go to Google and search food service repair companies in my area, and it'll pop up a list of who they are. Generally, you can go to their website and you can apply on their website. You never know. Just with the Google search may bring up now hiring ads. So do that. There's plenty of not ad, but there's plenty of agencies out there that'll help people find jobs. So you can use some of those. And there's Indeed. There's a couple others out there. So just keep in mind. I mean, there's ads everywhere. So if you're another trade like I was an electrician. I was bored with it. Um, I have to be stimulated. My ADHD brain kicks in, and I'm all over the place. So I get stuck doing the same thing over and over. I was traveling. I was wiring apartments or houses, and they were all the same, just cookie cutter things. It drove me nuts. And one of the good things about finding this career is it's always something different every day, and several times a day it's different. I never know what I'm going to work on. I may have worked on this piece before and not seen this problem, or I may have never seen this piece of equipment before, and I don't even know how to turn it on. So it's always that aspect of you're going to learn something every day. So that's a cool part about this job is the equipment is so varying that you never know you're going to run into. Now, of course, you'll see the same thing, over and over, but it's not like, if you did the same thing on an assembly line, or if you're wiring the same house or apartment, or if you're plumbing the same house or apartment, or, you're doing the same thing over and over. So it's always different. It's always interesting. Let's take a minute and talk about trade schools. I'm not knocking trade schools, and I'm not beating anyone up for going to a trade school. Um, if you think that you want to get into the commercial kitchen field, there is some opportunities out there to do some trade school stuff. I'm not beating that up. I don't know anything about it. Personally, I didn't go that route. But what about if you spend the money and you go to that class for 2 years, you come out and you get a job and you hate it? You're out that money. I mean, it happens all the time. People do that 2-year degrees, 4-year degrees, doctorate degrees. People come out and actually start doing the work and they can't stand it. So let's say you're interested. Why don't you come and work for somebody? Put some time in. Go to these restaurants, get dirty. You know, See if you do like it. If you do like it, maybe you can talk to your employer about taking classes at night. They may be willing to back you or sponsor you or pay for this and help you with your journey in the career. So let's 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 try before you buy, so to speak. So work in the field. Let's do a try before you buy mentality. You may not like it or you may love it. Who knows? You may not even need to go to school. We do a lot of hands-on, a lot of in-person training. Um, Green people, I mean, you can expect anywhere from 3, 6 to 9 to 12 months. I mean, it just depends on what you're trying to do. If you just want to be a hot side guy, it can be a little faster. If you want to be a hot side and refrigeration guy, it's going to be a lot longer. And it just depends on the market and what exactly your company does. So it varies. Some companies have university programs, they call it. They send you somewhere to train. There's training organizations that train. So we have Cefesa. It's a great organization. Uh, they have all kinds of classes. They have new tech training, which is for people who are just new to the industry, don't even know how to use tools. They go there, they get a week of hands-on learning, teaches them the basics of tools, circuits, that kind of stuff. And it's an amazing facility. They have equipment there. They have mock-ups. They have a training. It's just a great opportunity. And then they also have electric, gas, steam, and water, which is a little more advanced, but it's not for advanced techs. It's for the new people in the field, and it helps them, understand how these processes work. So FESI also has refrigeration training. I teach that twice a year. Generally, it's in like February, November, and it's for basic refrigeration. You have to have a little bit of experience with EPA and just some basic knowledge of how refrigeration cycles work. And then we teach the basics. We teach thermodynamics, component identification, some basic troubleshooting, some wiring, and some controls. It's a great class. It's 5 days, hands on, and classroom stuff, and it's pretty cool. So that's just some of the things that companies can offer as far as training people. Um, this industry is an amazing industry. I say it all the time, and people don't really, I don't think, believe me or understand, but it truly is. I've made a lot of friendships with restaurant people, manufacturers, reps, all kinds of people in this industry, and it's amazing. I've had a lot of cool experiences, done a lot of great things. You know, I tell people, when I started this field, I was a lot scarier than I was now. I get treated pretty well. Walk in, smile. People are having a bad day. You try to smile, try to work it through. Hopefully, you can get it fixed. If not, if you have to order parts, come back. Hopefully, you have a resolution, and at least they understand. Take time to explain to the customer though, and make sure they understand, and things go a lot smoother. So, but there's no better feeling than you walk to a restaurant and they can't open. They're freaking out. They got a piece of equipment down, and you fix it, and they can open up. You're the hero. I mean, there's no better feeling than going into a restaurant and they're shut down because they can't, serve food or something's broke, and you fix it, and they can open back up, and you're the hero. I mean, it's rewarding. It is. Some people have egos. I mean, I have a little bit of an ego. I'm not gonna lie, but I take it as a challenge when I walk in and I can't, I don't know what's going on. I walk in and something won't power up, or something won't run, or something won't light, and work through the problem and get it fixed, and that kind of feeds the ego a little bit. But you're also saving the day for the customer, so you gotta look at it both ways. So, like I said, if you're showing interest in this field, reach out to me on any of my social media. I will point you in the right direction to a company in your area. Just Google search food service repair companies in my area, and it'll bring them up. I'll talk to people in the restaurants. You see a guy come in fixing something, you see a van in the parking lot, talk to those guys, man. They all need help, and they will all be receptive to talking to you. I'm not going to be on here too long. I just wanted to get on and say, hey, if you're showing interest or you want to know more about it, just reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. It's a great career. It's a great industry. A lot of cool people, a lot of amazing opportunities. Like I said, I never thought I'd be where I am now. 16 years later, I didn't think I'd be making the money I make now, doing the cool things I do now, and spreading the word on what the food service repair industry is. So, if you want some more information, reach out to me or do a search. So, have a good day.